we have demonstrating how we can create new users, how we can retrieve a particular user with a particular credential, that we can retrieve all the users. How about if I want to leave my community, this community, I've had it with this application. I want to unregister myself, right? So for instance, what I could do, right, is do something like maybe a delete, right? And the delete might be that I pass in the ID of the user. This endpoint could be used maybe by a system administrator as well, right? That they want to remove a user from the register list of users, right? So we can do request response and maybe pass in the ID of the user, so user ID, as part of the path variable. And then in here, what we could do is retrieve the ID, so const user ID, and from the path, right, so request.params.userid. Once we have that, maybe we could use a DAO, right, to delete the user. So we said this could be maybe delete user, and we pass in the user ID as an argument. And then this would come back maybe with a status information saying that, yeah, it was successful or not. And then we can respond, we can send back that status. Okay, notice that I don't believe we implemented delete in the DAO. So let's head over to the DAO and implement that. So first we'll declare it in our API so we don't forget. And here we can do implement const delete user, and this is going to take as argument the user ID, right? And then what we can do is use the user data model. Remember, the user data model implements all the low-level APIs that go out to Mongo DB. So we're going to do user model, and we're going to use a low-level function called remove. And the argument to remove is that it takes a predicate on what it is that we want to remove. Well, which document we want to remove. So the one where the primary key is equal to the user ID that we're passing around, right? Notice that I'm using the more modern ES6 syntax. I'm not explicitly returning this like I did earlier, right? Notice that here we are explicitly returning it. We have a curly bracket, so we have to explicitly return. Whereas over here, I'm not using the curly bracket, and this is an implicit return. All right, so once we have that, let's try it out. Let's restart the server, and now let's go back and do a delete user. So let's duplicate this operation, and we'll call it delete user. And what are all the users? Let's see. Let's remove. Let's remove maybe Dan here. This is the ID of Dan. We can go back to Postman. So this is delete user. It's going to be a delete. And we can pass in the ID here. And we're going to send that over, and we get an OK, saying that, yes, there was one document that was removed, and it was successful. Right? So if we go back to the database and we do a pretty print again, notice that Dan is no longer there. Right? So there you have it, right? So we can do we can insert, we can find a particular user by a particular predicate, right? Let's see if we get any errors. We did get an error saying that the remove has been deprecated, that we should instead use a function called delete one. So I'm just going to replace this remove to delete one, and it should just work just the same.